Hey there everyone, long time no see, Lord Frigid here with a fully commentated episode of Aether Raids Battle Dump. I have been away from YouTube for a bit. I am the type of person who doesn't usually get burned out on anything that easily, but I think I did get a bit burned out. So I took a break, and I am back. Not sure I'm 100% gung-ho about YouTube things yet, but we'll see how it goes. I plan to slowly ease myself back into it, maybe Aether Raids offense, not for a week or two, but until then I can at least do these battle dumps. I have been busy, though. I actually started up a Fire Emblem 12 Lunatic run recently. For those of you who don't know, Fire Emblem 12 was the first title that I really played a lot. Awakening was my first Fire Emblem game, but 12 was the first one I played heavily. And also why I like Caeda so much. It's been fun, actually, to come back to that game after gathering all of this Fire Emblem knowledge and experience, whatever not, and coming back and going, oh, hey, this isn't as bad as I initially thought it was. It's also been a little weird. Sometimes you have nice, normal Fire Emblem 12 playthroughs, and sometimes your Caeda just decides her growth rates aren't good enough, and she just borrows Catria's for a bit. So, I don't know. It's fun, though. Still fun. At this point, I think I've actually been blathering for quite some time now. I'm so sorry. This isn't Heroes related at all. Let's go ahead and get into this past Light Season's matches. The first map is a box-style setup that I deployed the Caeda team against. It's actually an infantry pulse map. The Sothis' infantry pulse is key to getting Alphonse and Lysithia's special charges ready on turn 1. So in keeping with my general philosophy of nipping evil strategies in the bud, I went ahead and KO'd Sothis immediately. The important thing here is that Caeda with 72 HP cannot be affected by any heavy trap. And so this is completely exposed. Well, I mean, it'll stop her action, but if I smite her onto it, it's not gonna restrict her movement. So I was able to get the Sothis KO'd, and then just retreat. Important note, even without his, with or without his special, Alphonse and Caeda cannot KO each other. Just because Caeda reduces his stats by so much, even with his special active, he wouldn't be able to net the KO there. But what really helps is that Imbued Coma doesn't prevent Caeda's follow-up. I actually miscalculated slightly. I thought Alphonse was going to be prioritized because he didn't die, but of course neither does Flame because she has Dazzling Staff. I was a little bit worried because I thought that now Lysithia has no open spaces to attack from, but thanks to the Flame's ground order, she was actually able to warp to the help, who survived thanks to the mitigations from Caduceus Staff as a result of Flame actually attacking, and Caeda was able to net the important KOs. So I actually needed to take a bit of thinking time, but after that, I was able to get a maneuver going with Caeda KOing the Hell. I basically just had her KO Hell and run over 2 spaces to the left. And then, since it's turn 2, Dagger has even Tempest active. So I was able to get refreshes for both Dagger and for Caeda. So Dagger was able to KO the Alphonse. Turns out she didn't even need the null follow-up effect. She was able to just one-hit KO him straight away. I briefly toyed with the idea of using Azura to get the KO, just because I thought it might activate Gale Force, but unfortunately it didn't. She was able to land a one-shot, so that was a no-go. Leaving Annette. I was hoping to get Caeda to take the Annette KO, but it was not meant to be. There was just really, actually, there might have been a way to get her over there, but I couldn't see it. So I ended up just taking a look, seeing what the damage number was, and as it turns out, Annette can't KO Dagger, so I went ahead and just took the fountain and let Annette KO herself by attacking into Dagger on the end phase. I deployed the Caeda team for the second battle as well. I actually used a bit of a wait-and-see approach to kick things off. I probably could have figured out exactly who Veronica was going to restore by reading the AI guide, but I was feeling lazy, so I didn't. I thought there was a chance that she might jump out in front of Eliwood, which would make it really easy to smite Caeda up 2 spaces, take her out with a one-shot, refresh with Peony, take out the Eliwood as well, activate Gale Force, and then just warp and reposition Peony to safety. Unfortunately, Veronica stayed in place, so after a bit of thinking time, I decided to just proceed anyway. I just gave Caeda a quick smite up there. She attacked the Eliwood. I thought that was going to be a one-hit KO because I completely forgot about Flame and the fact that her Caduceus staff provided Eliwood with 30% mitigations. So that kind of screws me up a bit. I was hoping to activate Gale Force on the Flame and then just retreat from there. But unfortunately, there was really no way to do that, so I just had to kind of just walk away, basically, is what I did. So, no threat here, really. There's no way Hector gets to Caeda. And here, I'm in cleanup mode. The only really important strategic part of this remaining for this clear is that I have to get that Hector to attack Dagger. Because of Dagger's... Oh, gosh. I don't even know what her B passive is called. Because of her B passive, the null follow-up effect built into it, rather. Dagger is able to completely obliterate Hector if he attacks her. Unfortunately, this is a special fighter bonfire variant, I think. I'm pretty sure later in this video I previewed the combat of initiating into him and it did not look pretty. But, yeah, so attacking him is not nice, but him attacking her is perfectly fine and she just wipes the floor with him. So everything I'm doing now is basically leading up to that point. So I'm just going to go ahead and let the rest of this play out.
Let's go. Death's caress.
If you say so.
What can I do? Yes.
Right, boss. Got him.
Let's go. Certainly. Ready. What next?
If you say so.
Yes.
Death's caress. Yes?
Just you try.
Let's go. Yeah! What can I do? Certainly. Good morning. The glimmer of life.
Right, boss.
Ow!
Got him.
Death's caress. What next? Yeah!
So map number 3 is a bit of an interesting setup. It's got a small force in the center and then 2 solo characters off to the side. Unfortunately, because of the heavy green and colorless presence, it is a perfect opportunity to break out the Glimmer gang, so I went ahead and did that.
Death's caress.
Cecilia is going to be able to demolish the Corrin over on the left-hand side and then get a refresh. I ended up breaking the healing tower, and the objective there was to have Triandra attack from that space, because she will prefer that over the space that Caeda is currently occupying. Not that it really matters. Cecilia is in no danger either way. But it's just you know, take a little bit less damage. Have a slightly nicer looking HP number at the end of it all. I actually didn't anticipate being able to get Air out of danger like that. I thought Yoon was going to be able to attack into her, which, I mean, again, no trouble. Even with the guaranteed follow-up, Air's a bonus unit right now. Yoon poses no threat. So getting her out was a nice bonus, but not really necessary. And then I was able to have Cecilia demolish the Shaman with the Glimmer to finish this off. On the fourth map, I actually had Fortress Advantage, which is kind of crazy when you get to near the end of it, and you see how the Edelgard went down and how much damage she dealt to Caeda in the process. It was nuts. I mean, I guess she's a bonus unit, so that offsets Fortress Advantage at least. Anyway, it was kind of crazy. I mean, I guess it's not that crazy. Caeda's defense isn't wonderful or anything. It's just, I don't know. Usually the maps I deploy her into, she doesn't take a whole lot of damage. So it was just a surprise. Anyway, we'll get to that later, but for now let's focus on this kind of weird little Gale Force initiation I set up on the right side, using one of my available Gale Forcers. I actually had Dagger attack into the Eliwood, obviously she's doing it now, and Eliwood puts her in Wings of Mercy range, and that's going to be important both now and later. So I was able to have Azura attack the Seliph, and after that, Azura activates Gale Force, and then Peony will refresh Dagger from the space above her. And so you can kind of see that I'm setting up a trap on the Elise and the Alphonse. Now, the tricky part is that Edelgard is going after Peony, since she can deal the most damage to Peony. So I can't keep this trap for more than one turn. So what I did is I had Dagger just retreat. And because both my refreshers have Wings of Mercy, and because Dagger is too low in HP to be healed up above half by air, I was able to have Dagger retreat a little bit further, and then just have my refreshers Wings of Mercy straight to her. I made sure to put Peony on the left, which would force Edelgard straight down, allowing me to attack with Caeda. That gives Caeda the Flower of Joy and Drive attack bonuses, of course due to the mitigation and just raw stat total. Edelgard's able to survive a single hit, and in fact launches a super high power bonfire. This is what I was talking about when I just said a surprising amount of damage. I mean, it's a 2-hit KO even without Fortress Advantage. It was just surprising, is all. And then from here, I noticed actually that I could trap Elise in between the Panic Manor and the Defense Fort on the next turn. And the only problem was, how do I set that up? So I went ahead and I actually took a bit of thinking time here, and after that, what I ended up deciding was that I would have Dagger just reposition Peony to safety, and then I would reposition Azura to that place just below the defense fortress, because Elise deals 0 damage to both Caeda and Azura. She chooses to go after Azura, who is in the lower slot. Her slot order is higher in number. She is further to the right on the team composition screen, if that makes any sense. I don't know. Dagger has a Dragon Fang up, so she's going to be able to take out the Alphonse no problem. The trick is actually getting her there. So I struggled a little bit with it. I'm not sure why I did, but I guess my brain just wasn't really fully engaged. So I eventually decided that the best course of action was to refresh Air and just have her reposition Dagger again. That allows Dagger to land the 1-hit KO, and then with a refresh from Azura, Caeda was able to finalize the trap on Elise. The second time she got trapped on this map, funnily enough. And the rest is just cleanup, so I'm going to go ahead and let it play out.
The glimmer of life.
Got him.
Just you try.
Certainly. Yeah!
I am not really sure what to call this 5th map. I mean, not difficult, I guess, but that's not a classification, it's a difficulty rating. I broke just the Fae statue to kick things off in the lower right corner. that means that the only path to my units for the grounded enemy team members is down through that little choke point. So that's where they're all going to go. Tibarn, of course, is able to go over the mountain, so he's going to choose to go towards the center of the map, towards Peony. But the rest of them, that is their fate, unfortunately. Leaf goes down to a bonfire from Special Fighter Bonfire Hector. And I didn't want Tibarn attacking into my Edelgard, so I gave him a choice. Do you want to die to Idunn, or do you want to die to Hector? I don't actually remember what he chose. If I had to guess, I would guess Idunn, because she doesn't stop his follow-up like Maltet does. And I am apparently wrong. I guess he dealt less than 16 damage across 2 attacks to Idunn. That's kind of crazy, if you think about it. Gunthra, I'm actually surprised Gunthra didn't do more damage to Edelgard with,
Desist in your actions.
I'm pretty sure Edelgard has debuffs on her. So I figured Blizzard would have hit harder. But anyway, the rest of this is cleanup. The Edelgard doesn't have Fallen Shield, so it's really just a matter of positioning my units in such a way as to take out the enemies and just kind of go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and let this one play out.
Forward.
Pierce the sky, Maltet!
The glimmer of life.
Good morning.
Yes. Death's caress.
Maybe this way.
The glimmer of life. Yes.
Tread carefully.
Wait.
I'm up next.
The wind. Ha! Death's caress.
Ready. The choice is clear.
This world. Why resist?
If you say so.
You are in my way.
The 6th match is actually an infantry pulse setup, a bit of a lunge trap element with Berkut carrying lunge, so that basically guarantees that the bolt trap 2 spaces above air is going to be real. So I figured I'd just go ahead and kick things off by disarming it.
It will be done.
I wanted to do a Gale Force setup with the Caeda team for this map.
Sure.
However, I was thwarted by an overwhelming amount of guard on the leading units. Berkut had Steady Stance 4, Sothis had actual guard, so eventually I decided to use the Elise team instead. The gravity effect on Elise's weapon is going to be able to allow her to engage and not die a horrible, painful death on the enemy phase. So I isolated the Renea because my plan is to take out the Sothis and the Triandra. So, of course, with Triandra gone, she's not going to be providing any refreshes, so Renea is the only one I really needed to isolate there.
If you say so.
And then I was hoping to get some sort of trap so I could go and grab the Aether structures. Unfortunately, no enemy phase combats Since Renea's movement is restricted, she's not able to attack into Elise, which would have been real nice, but unfortunately it was not meant to be.
Death's caress.
On the plus side, I actually got a really nice enemy split with Celica drawing herself back, or sorry, drawing Berkut back, but also herself into that nice little pocket of space between the Armor School and the Heart Garland, I think is what that structure is called. And I ended up deciding to do a Gale Force-based maneuver here, with Elise able to take out Berkut, and then smiting Azura up 2 spaces to take on the Renea. After that, Azura is able to refresh Elise, and Elise completes the trap maneuver by moving in front of Celica to KO Sonya. And from there, it's just a matter of grabbing the Aether structures and then getting that one last KO. So, as is tradition, when there's not really a whole lot to talk about, I will let this one play out, and I will see you in the next one.
It will be done.
If you say so.
I bestow my blessing.
Okay. Good morning. Sure.
The 7th match was a really boring prison setup. It's kinda Tullius themed-ish, so I decided to deploy the Micaiah team as kind of a nod to that. I could have deployed basically any of my teams, really. That's really all there is to talk about here.
If you say so.
Understood.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna let this one play out. I did turn off combat animations, in case any of you really want to stick it out, but I totally wouldn't blame you if you just skipped over to match number 8.
Orders.
The glimmer of life. Maybe this way.
Understood.
Death's caress.
Got him.
Onward.
I'll draw them in.
Yes.
Ready.
Right, boss.
A gift for me?
Understood.
Orders.
The glimmer of life. Good morning.
You're sure?
If you say so.
Maybe this way.
Got him.
I'll draw them in.
Ready.
Understood.
The last match is against a Desert Cav Line. Don't see those a whole lot anymore, and yet here we are. I had trouble coming up with the approach for this map, actually.
Yes.
I was initially considering some things with Gale Force, the Caeda team, but that really just wasn't working out. In addition to the difficulties with getting my units to the enemy, there was also the whole thing of the enemies being flimsy, except for Legendary Leif and Legendary Sigurd. So there really just wasn't any way to get anything going there. But I was able to take a portion of that plan here, smiting Azura up to take out the Legendary Leif, activating Gale Force, and apply it to this Elise team clear. Azura then goes to refresh Elise, and Elise goes on to attack the La Rochelle. That does a lot of things. It takes away the enemy's odd recovery. It applies the movement penalty to Legendary Sigurd, and it eliminates the threat to air and peony. Now, let's count up Elise's advantages here. She has a ton of res from Dagger and Air. She only has to fight Duo Sigurd and Selena because Legendary Sigurd has the movement penalty on him. And because Duo Sigurd is prioritized due to dealing more damage, she is taken out of the HP threshold for Tome of Storms to be active on Selena, so Selena doesn't get that additional +6 attack and speed. Not that she would have benefited from it so much anyway, just because she gets one shot because her defenses are garbage. Add all of that up, and you get one Desert Cav line completely obliterated by the best staff Cav in the world. This is all just cleanup now, so I'm going to let it play out, and I will see you on the other side.
Do my best. Sure.
Like this.
Ready.
It will be done.
What can I do? Okay. Ha!
And that is it. I hope you all enjoyed this episode of Aether Raids Battle Dump. I am probably going to be doing another one of these next week for the upcoming Astra season. Or I guess at the time this video goes out, it'll be the ongoing Astra season. And after that, we will see, hopefully we can get back into the swing of Aether Raids offense. Although actually, since I've got you here, do you prefer fully commentated Aether Raids Battle Dump or Aether Raids offense and not commentated Battle Dump? Curious as to your thoughts. In any case, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you next time.